Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome to today's video. In today's video we're going to talk about, does camera gear matter and why does camera gear matter. So make sure you stick till the end, but for now let's cue the intro. Now if you're here today, you're pretty much here because you're sick and tired of all the lies that everybody tells you. Oh, gear doesn't matter, it's all about the skills behind the camera. Now that is true, but to an extent. I feel like gear does play a certain role in the type of production that you will put out there into the world. I feel like it goes hand in hand. Yes, gear does make a difference. It doesn't really make all the difference. Not 100% true. I feel like it's 60-40%, maybe even 50-50. Is it gear or is it the skills behind the camera? And today we're going to discuss that with you guys today. So let's roll up the first clip and show you guys. Pretty much I'm going to show you guys that kind of like the evolution of my filmmaking on YouTube from my very first video to this video that we have today, and kind of show you guys the progression, what I had in the beginning with the gear that I had and the picture quality that I had compared to now, and what I had in between. So let's get started. Alright, and for this shot right here, I had a $1,200 camera, a Sony 6400. That was my very first camera, other than the iPhone camera that I had. Now, the picture quality for this is actually pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely better than the picture quality from my iPhone. It was definitely a step forward, but as you guys can see, this is a clear example where gear does matter. Because I only had invested in a camera and maybe like a $40-50 microphone, so the lighting in here is really bad, so the audio isn't the best, the lighting isn't the best, and also pretty much you can also tell that there was really no composition in the shot that we have in this, my first video. Given it was my first video, as you guys know, you guys are gonna make mistakes and learn along the way, but that just goes to show you guys that gear does play a role when you're first starting and pretty much till the end. So yeah, if I would have had better lighting equipment, better audio equipment, and even maybe a better lens, because I was just using the kit lens that was with a camera that I bought, the picture quality would have been way better, obviously, as you guys see today. But all right, so now let's push the clock forward a little bit. So here, this is maybe like 3 months later. So I had to purchase my very first, I guess you could call it a key light. I mean, it was an Aperture ALMX, so it was definitely it was an investment. I mean, I think it cost like 150 bucks or 200 bucks. So I purchased the Aperture ALMX. I also purchased 2 Philips Hue LED bulbs, pretty much to use them as my backlight. So I pretty much had my key light right here, and then I had like 2 backlights in the back, kind of like the setup I have today, but obviously it looks totally different. But there's, you know, obviously this shot is actually really dark compared to the shots that you guys see in today's videos, but this just goes to show you, so my production was getting a little bit better. I invested a little bit more in gear. I believe I had my very first expensive lens there, but I mean, it clearly wasn't enough to make the video productions that I make today, but it was definitely an improvement from the very first one. So I think in here I invested maybe a total of like maybe $300-400 bucks at most for pretty much just lighting equipment. Still had the same audio, still had the same pretty much camera. All right, but now let's look at the third shot. So this third shot was a little bit better. I had dumped a little bit of money into audio, so I bought my very first lavalier mic, so the audio sounded better than the first clip and the second clip. If you look at my old videos, you'll see that my audio levels, some videos they were high, some videos they were low. Obviously I did not invest much money into audio or time into studying the, you know, the art of audio, but pretty sure you guys can tell the difference from today's video and you compare it to my first couple of videos. But yeah, that was my very first big purchase for audio. I believe it was the lavalier microphone, which was like $70, and the Rode Wireless Go, which was 200 bucks. So it was a pretty big investment, and it definitely improved my audio from beginner to like at least mid-level, I want to say. But like I said, the shot was a little bit better. If you guys can see, you'll be able to see the shadows in that shot. Something that you'll learn within time is that you have to actually learn how to cover the shadows with lighting. I'm gonna show you guys that today, but that just goes to show you, if you guys, that gear does matter. At least when it comes to lighting, gear does matter, because there's no way you would have been able to cover the shadows with just 2 hue LED bulbs and a little small aperture ALMX, because pretty much since I do a lot of hand gestures when I'm talking to you guys can see closely every time I would talk or move my hand, my hand would cover the light, and then my face would like go shadowy or black. So like I said, it wasn't the best, but it was an investment. So as you guys can see, gear does play a role. It, like I said, if you compare my very first video that I made compared to the video that you guys are seeing today, it's obviously a massive improvement. So yeah, my skills did get better without a doubt. There was a lot of trial and error when I was, doing this. So now let's fast forward to this setup today. So I'm pretty much going to tell you guys the gear that I'm using here. So right now I'm using an actual key light dome with the softbox. It's the GVM light. I believe it cost me like around $250 or $285. It's pretty cool because it comes with the stand, the cable. I don't have to purchase any extra stuff with it. And then so that's my key light right over here, and then I have right over here I have the aperture ALMX that I previously used. Right over here I have a tube light by Nano Light, and that pretty much lights up the back. It takes care of the shadows, and then this is pretty much lighting the main focus of the video. And believe it or not, these things make a big difference, because if I was just to shut this light off, and I'll show you guys right now. So if I was pretty much to only have one light, which would be this key light, this is pretty much the picture quality it would look like. So this just goes to prove to you guys that the more gear that you have, the more power you have into creating the type of feel or video that you want. But for now, let's turn back these lights. So yeah, so that's pretty much when it comes to the lighting. Now let's talk about the camera. The camera I'm using is the Sony a7S III. Now that's a $3,500 camera. The lens attached to it is a G Master 24-70 f2.8. Now that right there is also a $2,200 lens. Right now I'm using the Rode NTG, and it's connected to the Rode Wireless Go via lavalier to have kind of like a wireless setup. So this microphone here cost me around $250. The two transmitters cost me a total of $100. And then I also have this Joby Gorilla tripod that pretty much cost me $30. Now what I have back, I also have the Atmos Shinobi that I showed you guys in my previous video. That cost me, with all the accessories and the cables, I believe it was around $350 to $400. So it was a pretty big investment. And then I also have a camera cage, which is by Small Rig. Now the camera cage I'm using is for the Sony a7R III, but I tweaked it enough to make it fit the a7S III, because I did not feel like spending another $80 to $120 for another camera cage. So I just made the best situation out of it. And then I have a tripod that I believe it cost me like around $45, $50. So just when you put all that together and how much it cost to get this type of picture quality, so just keep that in mind next time somebody tells you that gear doesn't matter. I feel like gear does matter. There's no denying that whatsoever. If you don't have the gear, how are you going to go out and create the stuff that you want? How are you going to go out and create the type of lighting to set a certain type of emotion if you only have one light, or if you don't even have a light, like my very first video? So try to keep that in mind when someone tells you that gear doesn't matter. Now the next step to that, gear does matter, but so do the skills behind the camera. If you can get good gear, learn how to use that gear to its fullest potential, completely master both and bring them together, which is pretty much what I did right here. This is pretty much what you can get. Now it's gonna cost money. This stuff is not cheap, so just keep that in mind, but it's definitely doable. Just when you're starting, just invest. I'm not saying go buy all of this at once. I think it took me around 2 years to buy all of this gear. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Alright guys, and also one thing to keep in mind, the same people, the same YouTubers that are telling you, oh, that gear does not matter, ask them what camera they're using. 9 out of 10 times they're going to be using at least a $2,000 camera. So if gear doesn't matter, at least that's what they're trying to tell you, ask them, so why did you invest so much money into a camera? Why did you invest so much money into a light? I'm going to be upfront with you guys. This stuff is not cheap, but if you invest in it and you invest the right parts, depending on what type of filmmaker you are, or YouTuber that you are, pretty much there's nothing more to say. You buy the gear that you want. Don't let other people manipulate you into thinking that, oh, that, you know, gear doesn't matter. Gear does matter. Like I said, it's 50-50 if you think about it. Without the gear and the skills, you can maybe get by it, but not really. But if you have the gear and you don't have the skills, it's gonna be the same. If you can master having the gear and the skills, and you put them together, that is a recipe for success. But anyways, you guys, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys got a ton of value out of today's video. Don't be afraid to leave me a comment in the comment section down below if you guys have any questions. If you guys want me to leave links into all the equipment that I have, let me know. But yeah, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video if you can. So yeah, and if you have any more questions, let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.